In this tutorial, we're going to discuss the LAMP stack. LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And it's the most popular web and web server environment in the world. Many people have heard of LAMP developers, and LAMP developers do a lot of development with content management systems like Joomla, Drupal, and WordPress. But LAMP is also an environment. Linux is the operating system that is running on the web server. Apache is the service that runs the website. MySQL is the free open source database that's being used for the website. We'll talk a lot more about that later. And PHP is the programming language. The LAMP environment is very flexible and stable. And you don't really need to know that much about Linux and Apache and MySQL and PHP to work with it, but it helps. It helps especially to know quite a bit about MySQL and PHP, and I'll show you that in this class. But in terms of Linux and Apache, maybe you don't have to be an expert to get Joomla content management system running and do a lot of things with it. There's another type of software called Wamp Server, which just stands for Windows, Apache, MySQL, PHP. And what that allows us to do is create our own sort of hosted environment for development on our own PC, or for a Mac, it's called Wamp Server, Mac, Apache, MySQL, PHP. It's a great piece of software because it allows me to do all my development of a website, all the testing, designing, right on my local PC. And then when I'm ready to show it to the client, I just port it up to the website. So that saves me a lot of time from FTPing files back and forth, moving files back and forth from my local computer to the web. I can have my own environment. So I'll show you right now how to install Wamp Server, which is in your class files. I'm just going to go to my files here, and I'm going to double click on the 32-bit version, and just go to run it here, and accept the terms. And it'll just take a minute to run. It doesn't take up a lot of machine space on your PC. And it is usually in an off mode. You have to actually turn it on. If you reboot your computer, it's going to shut Wamp Server off. And I'm just going to click yes and finish. And at that point, it's actually installed on the PC. And to go and view it, I'm just going to go over here to my taskbar. And I'm going to look down on the taskbar, and I can see this green icon here, which is Wamp Server. It's green. If it wasn't running, when I start my PC, it would be red. And I'm just going to click on that and take a look at some of the goodies that Wamp Server has here. And I left click on that to get to this menu. I can restart the services, stop the services, start all services. That can come in handy if you're making changes to the php.ini file. I can do command line commands to create new databases and make changes to my MySQL databases right here. I can look at my PHP setup, and both of these we'll come back to later in the class. I can look at my Apache setup. I can look at the www directory of my computer. And I can look at phpMyAdmin, which is a graphical tool for talking to the MySQL database. And I can go to localhost right here. And localhost is just where the site is sitting on my computer. And if I click on that, what's going to happen is it's going to open this dialog box right here in Internet Explorer, or whichever is my default browser. And I can see just looking at this, that I don't have any projects right now, but we'll be creating a Joomla one soon. But the whole environment is up and running and seems to be working. And we'll talk about all of these configuration options again by just going to my taskbar, left-clicking on the Wamp icon, and I'll actually just stop it here to show you what that looks like. If I click on Stop All Services, you can see the icon turns to red. If I click on that again and go to Start All Services, you can see there it turns from red to orange, and hopefully it's going to turn green in a second and just completely restart. And we'll just give that a second to do that. It's just going to be there. Let me just try that again. Yeah, and there it is, started green again. So the next step will be taking a look at MySQL and creating a database for Joomla, which we'll do in the next tutorial.